Alright guys, Scrappy again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. A decent opening weekend for OpTic Texas. Yes, they went down to Boston, but they bounced back emphatically last night against the Cloud9 New York roster. Shotzzy though says there is lots of room for OpTic to improve, calling out their own practice over the last couple of weeks, saying that it's not been to the level that they need. Exactly what did he mean by that, especially when it comes down to taking down FaZe and Thieves? They're two, you would think, chief contenders this season for the titles. Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, a couple of quick things on Call of Duty 2025. We're back at it again, baby. The new COD's just come out. That means we get to talk about the next COD. Now, next year's COD is set to be a tryout game again. This is a game that, you know, I'm going to be looking forward to, I think, no matter what, given the way that it currently is. So it's going to be a sequel to Black Ops 2. Kind of makes sense because Black Ops 2 came out in 2012 and was based, if you guys remember, in 2025. So, yeah, the idea that we're going into 2025 now, wow, yeah, 2025 felt a long way away when I played that game 12, 13 years ago at this point. It's going to be a sequel to BO2. There are going to be remastered maps from BO2. Hopefully, they don't ruin them, because next year's game is likely to have Omni movement again. I would imagine that the movement system in this upcoming title is very similar to what we currently have in BO6. It seems to be that Trike have created this movement system with the intention that it does become the COD movement system from now on, and probably they're going to stick with that because I think it's pretty damn good. My concern, of course, being if you do get remastered BO2 maps, how big are the maps? Because back then you couldn't slide a million miles an hour around a corner and jump, dive backwards, midair, you know, all this type of stuff. The game tends to play faster and the characters move faster than they used to. So if you bring the maps back just as they were, they'll play differently just because the pacing's different. That's always how sometimes it is in COD. A map like Raid is so good that it just doesn't really matter. You just bring it back anyway and it plays fine because it's Raid. But I am a bit concerned there. And then also, are they going to put doors on the map and some of the other stuff that we really don't want to see? Hopefully not anyway. But yeah, this is the plan for COD 2025. I know there's quite a lot of excitement about it as it stands. Obviously, Nature was very happy yesterday with the Los Angeles Thieves result. Game 1 was pretty mesmerizing to watch, actually. But a couple of numbers to dive into here as we start out the video again. These are the overall KD numbers so far. So only through a couple of series and names that you wouldn't necessarily expect to stay up here. But ReeaL's had a great start for Miami, as has Gwinn and Slasher, to be fair. But Gwinn's been right there for the Ravens. That should be no massive surprise, of course. Rookie of the Year last year, Gwinn. Controversially or not, he did win it. HyDra's at a 1.22. CleanX. Now, just quickly on CleanX, his gamer tag is pronounced Kicks, I believe, which is what they sometimes call him. I know that Clayster made a clarification on the Reddit to say that he doesn't mind if you call him Kicks or you call him CleanX. His old gamer tag he got rid of and changed around, so this is his new one. But yeah, he's been looking pretty good so far as well. But Shotzzy is leading the way. Now, mainly because he had an absurd series yesterday up against Cloud9. He dropped like a 1.9 KD. So that is to some degree skewing this upwards. But nonetheless, these are the numbers in hardpoint. Shotzzy's averaging a 1.52, HyDra with a 1.48, Gwinn and Slasher on the same team, they're in the 1.4s pretty much, which is, yeah, kind of remarkable. In Search and Destroy, fair play to Skyz. He's had a couple of good maps so far, although his team is not looking so good. He's at a 1.67. ReeaL is here again, Gwinn is here again, and then a couple of OpTic guys this time, including Shotzzy again. So I think you look at the state of the game right now, and especially Shotzzy scoreboards like this, where Shotzy's again dropping a 1.3 in control. Skyz, Rencor, Metals, and aBeZy this time kind of rounding things out over there. But Shotzzy and HyDra, I think, are the real players to watch this season. I don't know which POV I prefer right now between the two of them. I know that I talked about MVP candidates the other day. I mentioned Dashy just because I feel like Scrap this year, this is kind of my analysis, Scrap he won't look as good this year, Scrappy, I don't think, as he has done before, just because he's playing with a better team. That's my takeaway. Scrappy isn't going to be any worse. He probably won't look as good. Dashy may still on OpTic Texas, and other ARs this falls to as well. But to be fair, early doors, it does seem like the SMGs, again, are going to be the powerhouse of the season. Especially because that's what we're seeing now. Usually as time goes on, we tend to see them more and more over the course of a year. Already we're seeing that the SMGs are pretty much dominating proceedings, and Shotzzy and HyDra are just mesmerizingly good there. So to me, those are your two MVP frontrunners as to what I've seen over the last few days. Shotzzy, no-brainer. Like, it's no surprise that Shotzzy is insanely good at this title right now. But as is HyDra, and when you watch their POVs, I don't know which one is more fun to watch. Shotzzy's movement is more like insane, and it's stuff that like nobody can do. HyDra's POV just looks incredibly fluid. And I think when HyDra's on, he actually does play like perfect COD. Like the way that you watch him play is like exactly how you would imagine the perfect COD player plays COD. Shotzzy is like on another level in some regards, but like in terms of his movement and his flashiness, it's something that like nobody can replicate in the entire world apart from Shotzzy, apart from maybe HyDra, but it's not quite the way that HyDra plays. So yeah, they're going to go toe-to-toe this season, I'm sure of it. Of course, Shotzzy gets the quick 3-0 dub yesterday against the Cloud9 boys. Looking forward to seeing when OpTic get to play Thieves, when they get to play FaZe, and see how those series are actually going to work out. Now, of course, the Cloud9 boys were deeply frustrated, and for good reason, on the state of the ping drama, right? The fact that the CDL forcing them to play on a server which did not favour them in any way at all. They were significantly behind all the Texas teams on ping. And that's, you know, an issue that they have to resolve over the next couple of days because, you know, it's the start of the CDL. It's not going away. Like, Cloud9 will continue to play Texas teams. What do you actually want them to do? As Dashy says, GG C9 1-3-0. Unfortunate situation there, and hopefully the league is going to figure that out. So I imagine the words from Dashy might have been stronger had it been, you know, OpTic on the receiving end, but it is what it is. And at the end of the day, Cloud9, they've decided to base their team out of LA. You're going to deal with some internet, you know, problems if you're going to decide to do that when compared to the other teams in the league. But of course, it should still be fine. Right now, it's not fine. They're not playing on a server which suits any of those guys at all. Pred says GGC9, win of the first season, or first win of the season, GG's type thing. This is, of course, what Attach had to say yesterday, making us play on a combined 140 ping. So, you know, every player had 35 more ping than the respective OpTic player. They played through it. They got slammed. Not a good start because they can't show what they're capable of. At least that's what they say, although I think many watching the series would say, well, it wasn't exactly an especially good showing, right, from the Cloud9 boys so far. But even if they're not very good, which I'm not sure that they are, but even if they're not, they can't prove it to themselves, as in, if they're bad, they might want to make a change, or they might consider doing something differently, right? The problem is that they can't even tell where they're at, really, because they're playing their CDL matches against good teams in all this, you know, difficult ping situation. And Sasha saying, look, 5-6 years ago, it was the same story for me, but I can't believe that they still operate like it's 2019, had me on 100 ping in a grand final, which I'm guessing was the 2019 to 2020 season when the OGLA roster that season did make one grand finals that year, which they lost, maybe to FaZe or something, I kind of forget. But they made a grand final that year, OGLA, and they played online. And obviously the servers that year were at times a bigger problem than even they are today. And Abuzah says people have to stop talking about what they don't know about. So I think Ronnie was maybe talking about, like, you know, Cloud9 not looking good because of the ping, which I guess he deleted. And that's what Sasha's saying, like, look, you never really know until you do it what it's like to play at a ping disadvantage. I also recognised here that Abuzah, I can see his tweets again. Has he unblocked me? I mean, I don't really know why I can't follow him on the right-hand side. But, yeah, I can see his profile. So, we're back, baby. We're back. Let's go. Let's talk about what Shotzzy had to say, though, because in his interview last night, I thought was particularly interesting, really, discussing the current state of OpTic Texas and how they're feeling confident going forwards. He was asked the question, what happened against Boston? Because, of course, it was an unexpected loss for OpTic going down 3-2 in the manner that they did. Of course, there were caveats. It's early season stuff, and it was not the result they were looking for at all. And Shotzzy says, yeah, their practice has not been at the level that he wanted it to be going into the new season, which is, to be honest, it's a consistent trend with OpTic, right? The new season's going to get underway. Shotzzy and OpTic, for whatever reason, their practice at the start of titles doesn't tend to be so good, but they know what it takes now, right? I think that's the question that I had with FaZe. Yeah, they won the World Cup, but like, that roster outside of that, yeah, they won Miami as well. But OpTic won the World Championship. They know what it's like to win that type of tournament. They know what it took to win that type of tournament and the progress and the development they needed to make to win it, especially in the search and destroy department, which is a massive big deal. That's where OpTic currently look somewhat lacking. But again, it's interesting to hear Shotzzy kind of describe very evidently that OpTic's practice hasn't been as strong as it needs to be.
How you doing, Shotzzy?
Very good. How are you guys?
So good,
The
man.
voice from
Welcome
up
to
above.
the show, right? It's like the man
I'm
behind
getting
the curtain.
better.
Now we got you front and center. Shotzzy, sorry to cut you off there. Quick question.
Very good.
What happened against Boston?
Giga.
What happened against Boston is lack of good practice is honestly the best way to put it. I feel like our practice the last couple weeks haven't really been, you know, to our standards. So definitely need to lock in for sure.
You know what? Forget all that. I got the question we all want to know. Who wins in a 1v1? You or HyDra?
Oh, snap.
I mean, I have to say myself because I'm saying if I'm saying someone else,
say it confidently at least.
well, of course me. But he definitely is one of the players that obviously I have a ton of respect for him. The way he plays is like somewhat similar. So, yeah, nothing but good things to say to him.
Looking forward to that matchup.
And I want to ask you, first off, wow, you've been unbelievable these first two series, just absolutely dominating. But you said lack of practice is why you guys lost that. I think you're talking more so about the search and destroy, because in respawn, you look ridiculous. Like, you guys are aware of every single spawn, and you kind of have just like autonomous control to be able to push out as far as you want and make plays. How are you finding Black Ops 6 and how Hardpoint plays?
It's amazing. The spawns are actually really fun. Well, the game is fun because Omni movement, and then the spawns obviously are pretty good to read. So, so yeah, that's that. And then for S&D, I will agree. Well, holy shit, we don't know what to do in mid-round situations. That's one thing that we struggled last year, and this year we're obviously trying to, you know, make sure like we're actually calling out mid situations. So. Definitely something to work for going forward for sure.
Shotzzy, final question for you. Can you act out the coolest kill you've had so far in Black Ops 6?
Act out?
Yeah, show me with your hands. What did you do?
I can't show you the hands, but I can show you the Omni movement.
There we go, there we go. All right, let's check it out, let's check it out.
The chair's gonna...
Yep.
Okay.
Oh! Hit him with the side stream.
Is it gonna come back?
Yeah, hard left. That is Shotzzy.
An Omni movement.
A man with the running gun. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to let him...
It's good that OpTic are recognising this. Of course, it is early days still in the season. We've seen this in the past. And again, their respawn is looking very solid against everyone they've played. It was the search and destroy that let them down against Boston earlier in the weekends. So I imagine that's where a lot of their focus is potentially going to be going forwards. Again, as Shotzzy says, they're mid-rounding. That's where they find themselves in a problematic situation, right? And it's just, I think it is, you live by the sword, you die by the sword with Kenny. You kind of know that you get that from Kenny. He's not going to be great in those situations for a couple of months. That tends to be how it is, right? Once they learn the maps and really put in the work, OpTic will improve substantially at those mid-rounding search and destroy situations, but it will cost them series wins this season, and unless, you know, they really resolve that issue. It was a big talking point last season, like Stage 2, when they were just terrible at high-rise. They tried, they got better, they eventually got there by the end of the year when it really mattered. But it's still a big talking point for OpTic, I would say, that other teams right now are probably more well-rounded than they are. And yeah, is there only qualifiers for now? But in the start of January, there's going to be a minor online tournament, and then there's going to be the LAN in Madrid. And there aren't, unfortunately, all that many LANs in Call of Duty nowadays, right? But Nate dropped buzzing about the result, of course, from the Los Angeles Thieves yesterday. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Are these guys very much so the team to be right now? Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.